What did I learn whilst visiting Japan? How not to sway to extremes and get stuck on the opposing sides of things. Japan being one of the most unique and distinct countries I visited, and as someone brought up in the West with Afro-Caribbean heritage, it made me ask questions about the collision of culture, philosophy, and spirituality. I aim to go deeper through this through a long form meditation on the Bible verse. It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. Whoever fears God will avoid all extremes. In light of this, I'll look through my experience following the social norms and observing them, getting to grips with the language and how to communicate, and also the food. Every place I go, I take away something new from the experience. Sometimes I'm comfortable, sometimes an awkward feeling that doesn't always translate well in the highlight reel in the moment, but later I realize that something is a lesson that's inscribed in my soul and can be applied thereafter. This is my not so touch and go 2-week experience of traveling around Japan. Another key aspect in Japan is that it is good to know a couple of phrases in Japanese to communicate. You embrace working with the language as much as you can. Use of language apps, Google Translate really helped me, and it helped me to connect better with people. I think the main thing is putting in the effort, don't give up. It got me thinking of the concept of kintsugi, which is where you've got pottery and it's broken and you mend it with gold, which in my eyes is to embrace the beauty of imperfection and the history of an object. And it's in that you can look at the fear of failure as perfectionism. But when I think of Christ again, it's only by his grace that I can progress. There's this particular verse that says there's no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. So there's no need to disguise your flaws. It's just to continue to be led by love. That can be a humbling experience and you can be brought low, but in that you understand how to abound, how to grow from that. I really enjoyed the food. The food was fresh, it was done to perfection. When you look at the Japanese diet, generally it's known to be one of the healthiest diets in the world because of the mix of ingredients that you have, and ensure that there's optimal flavor and nutrients while still being tasty. And with the food, it's like you get to enjoy the joy of little things, and I think that relates to the ikigai, which for me on certain days my ikigai was to have a matcha ice cream, a way of experiencing the small thing and not putting too much emphasis on it, but just appreciating what you eat, let's say, for what it is. The first aspect of Japan that really stood out to me was the fact that people follow the rules of society, and there's a high demand for a social obligation as it relates to harmony, prioritizing the group as opposed to just the individual. So your behavior affects everyone and you might have to moderate yourself. For me, one of the biggest examples was going into restaurants with my family. We're not thinking of our tone of voice. When you go into places, it's sort of assumed that you will lower your tone or you would match the atmosphere. Yeah, that was one example of the sort of differences and the awareness that your eyes are open to when you're in Japan. It's like you adjust yourself to maintain social harmony. Standing out is not always the best thing, and I was wondering, where does this come from? And in that, I was looking at the concept of nagomi, which means harmony and balance, and the idea that relates to traditional Japanese beliefs of Shintoism, that you live in harmony with nature, that there is like a line that runs through all of nature that connects us, and we get in that connection by being in harmony with one another. And when I come to think of that, it's like this collectivist way of living is a way to ascend the flesh, ascend your own will, and do the will that would be best for the group. Christ invites us to ascend. He came down, you could say God came down from his holy mountain and dwelt among the people for that unity, because our entire being screams out to be seen, to be known, to live in true harmony with creation. And as Christ comes down and allows us to ascend, he encourages a unity that looks different, that is not based on uniformity, but that sees our uniqueness and works together, a blend that is accepting and goes beyond the limits of just the group. It sort of expands that, and I think that's beautiful. You can see the seeds of that in the idea of nagomi. It's as though the self is sacrificed on the mountain in Japan, and Christ is sacrificed on the high place, on the mountain, on the cross, so that all may have life, to redeem the self and therefore the group to its right position. Essentially, the call to be human in everywhere I go, to relate, to recognize intrinsic value, and to be able to connect through understanding how I relate to others and what I carry on the inside. There is resistance, but there is a way through. We can deepen as we deepen relationships and go into new places, foreign lands. We are made as relational beings with others and with God. We long for a home. I think of the tale of Princess Kaguya, the contrast she had between earthly desires and a heavenly destiny, coming down from the moon into a bamboo shoot and being adopted by human parents who grew her up. She could frolic and enjoy nature, to then be stolen away to the material world that made her assimilate, and part of her soul was lost. And then just like that, she had to go to the moon again, and she forgot who she was. Unlike Princess Kaguya, our fate is different. We have the opportunity to remember our heritage, regardless of the place we're in, and to protect what is intrinsic to us and keep it alive. And the way that I do this is through relating to Christ, who created me. Wherever I go, that's what I always take with me.